This thing is probably, God, it's probably 9 inches long, 8 or 9 inches long the way it is. This is the bait that you want. You got to have a big, large bladed buzz bait like this for this technique to work. You can't throw a white buzzer. You can't throw a smaller buzzer. You can't throw a chartreuse buzzer. It's got to be a black buzzer with a chartreuse tail, big black blade on it. This is the setup with it. And also, before I get into the conditions, you have to have the right equipment to throw it on, because this thing, you got to throw it where it goes so slow across the water. So what I like to do with it is I throw it on a flipping stick. And the reason I throw it on a flipping stick is the length of the rod. I can keep that rod tip high in the air, and it allows me to barely turn that rod handle, and that blade is just going blub, 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 just barely moving across. You just want to fish it slow enough to where the blade's not going under the water. And by using the flipping stick with heavy line, I use 25-pound test Seaguar and Vizex on it, and I'll cast it out there, and I'll keep my rod tip at about the 11 o'clock position and just reel it slow, just like that. And my rod tip with the 7-foot 11-inch rod, there's no line in the water. The line is so high up that it's just straight to the buzzer. So you can reel it really slow like that by having your rod tip high. And that is the key. It's like you can't reel this buzzbait fast or it'll never bite it. You got to just barely move it along the surface like that. And so that's why the big blade, that the Jamaica boa has on it, and the heavy line and the long rod is going to be critical with that. Okay, now once you got that, just as important is like when and the conditions that you throw it in, because you have to have these conditions lined up perfect for this to work. Now this is going to work really anytime the water temperature is anytime it's over 50 degrees, like low 50s. I like to do this before most people think that a topwater is going to be working. And for most people, they don't think about a topwater until the water temperature starts to get close to 60 degrees. It's like there's a big difference between, people fishing a topwater or thinking about a topwater when it's 60 versus 50. But anytime the water temperature is over 50 degrees, I'm thinking about throwing this thing in the springtime of the year. Now, this is going to be most of the time, like in my part of the country, it can be in March when we have the first 50-degree temperatures. In your part of the country, depending upon where you're at, it could be February, or it could be up into April if you're up north a little bit further. But you want to get it right when that water temperature starts to hit 50. Okay. In correlation with that water temperature being 50, if you gave me an ideal surface temperature for this, I like the temperatures about 53 to 55 degrees. That's perfect for this technique. After you get that,